Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Today is going to be our makeup for yesterday for the black crypto. I want to let everybody come in. Strap in. You're having a great day. Also, hope you all had a good 4th of July. How you doing, Joe Black? How you doing today? Also, I'd like to say whoever likes to come on to the panel, just let me know and I'll shoot y'all an email with the Hangout link and come on the panel. Give it a few more minutes so everybody can come on in. Uh-huh. All right, no problem. Attend to your business, Joe Black. You can listen passively. Just ask to hit that like button. And also, whoever comes in or just listen to the show in the background, just hit that like button as well. We really appreciate it. Give it a few more seconds. And we'll get the show started. Thank you for hitting the like button, Joe Black. Really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. All right, give it a few more seconds, and we'll get the show on the road. I know a lot of people don't tune in for our crypto show, and that's fine. I understand, but the information is still here for those who want to use it. We share my screen, and we'll get the show on the road. So, quick FYI, Hangouts on Air is going away August 1st. So that is, today is the 5th, right? There's 31 days, 31 days in, um, what month is this? August. So that leaves 26 days. Yeah, most likely because it's the weekend. Yeah. People are recovering from their 4th of July, what you call it? I'll say party. So let me present to everyone. Let's get the show started, people. As VMCEO says, thank you guys for still spreading the knowledge, even if a lot don't tune in. This is my first time. No problem. No problem. It's like that. A lot of people don't tune in on the crypto. It's fine. But like I said, the information is still here for people that want to come back and listen to it. How you doing, Money Mike? All right. So, like I said, please hit the like button as you all come in. Really do appreciate it. And if you would like to get on the panel, just let me know and I'll shoot your email. All right. First article is two startups are partnering to enable Amazon purchases with Ethereum. Excuse me. Two blockchain focused startups are teaming up to enable Amazon purchases with Ethereum. In a press release published Friday, crypto payments firm Click Technology said it is collaborating with blockchain infrastructure provider B2B platform Porty to develop an app-like browser extension allowing Amazon customers to pay for items in the Ether token, even though Amazon itself does not accept cryptocurrencies. The effort will be based on Plasma Cash, a technology outlined last March by Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin. Aporti's implementation of the concept, a payment scaling solution similar to Bitcoin's Lightning Network, will bring a modern day cryptocurrency economy one step closer to becoming a reality, trumpets click in the release. The Plasma Cash implementation would dramatically accelerate transaction speeds when compared with those on the Ethereum blockchain, the firm added. Bringing cryptocurrency to the e-commerce marketplace is the merging of two next-generation industries, said Roman Bond, CEO at Click Technology. We're excited to be working on this project with Aporti and to move forward on a number of other ambitious projects with them as well. Going forward, the two companies plan to build similar payment products for other cryptocurrencies too, listing ERC20 and ERC721 and other Ethereum standards as options currently being considered. Click Technology is developing a crypto payment platform called ClickPay, which is now in the pilot phase, according to the release. So that these two platforms are partnering together to allow you to spend your Ether on Amazon. So what will happen is Amazon won't exactly receive Ether. They'll be in the background as soon as you click pay. These two companies, which are Click and Aporti, will receive your Ether, cash it out, and give Amazon cash. So they'll operate as a middleman platform. That's fine, that's fine at the time being. But as infrastructure build out, you'll start to see Amazon and other places be able to accept cryptocurrencies directly. And I want to, where is it at? So I want to highlight this section right here. It says Aporti's implementation of the concept, a payment scaling solution similar to Bitcoin's Lightning Network, will bring a modern day cryptocurrency economy one step closer to becoming a reality. So this is a scaling solution, allowing you to make transactions off of the main Ethereum chain. But those transactions, the recording of those transactions will be recorded onto Ethereum's blockchain. So to give an example, we'll take Bitcoin's Lightning Network since it mentioned it in the article. We all know Bitcoin, the main chain of Bitcoin, cannot process a lot of transactions per second. And every 10 minutes, a block of information is added to Bitcoin's blockchain. So the Lightning Network allows you to make a purchase up to, I believe it's either 30 or $50 on the Lightning Network. And the recording of those transactions are then put on Bitcoin's main chain um, in a block information. So instead of making a purchase on Bitcoin's main chain, slowing the main chain down and broadening the mempool of transactions, you can make transactions off of the main chain, but those recording of those transactions in Bitcoin's ledger will be added. So that's one way, and of multiple ways to allow cryptocurrencies such as the first one, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, to scale. And these are good things, absolutely good things. Bitfinex is starting to buy back and burn its LEO exchange token. Cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex has announced a transparency initiative that will see it put on full view the buying back and burning of its LEO exchange token. In an announcement Friday, the firm said as part of its token redemption process, the UNIS said LEO transparency initiative will allow the public to see parent firm Ifinex use its gross revenues to purchase circulating LEO tokens at market rates. These will then be destroyed or burned as the firm effectively pays back those who bought the exchange token at $1 billion sale early last month. Bitfinex appears to have launched the sale to cover a $850 million shortfall flagged by the New York Attorney General in April. The AG's office, or Attorney General's office, said Bitfinex had kept the lost millions secret and covered it with a loan from sister firm Tether Limited, issuer of the Tether stablecoin. So I don't need to read much more because what they're getting into is past history. So what's going on is a while ago, Bitfinex lost $850 million worth of money. Their issuer, I forgot what bank that was, had their funds frozen in 3 countries. So Bitfinex is owned by a company called iFinex. iFinex also owns Tether, which is about the 6th or 10th largest crypto on the market, but Tether is a stable coin. And a stable coin has to have every circulating stable coin has to have money in the bank to back it up. So Tether transferred the funds to Bitfinex in order to cover their shortfall, their loss. Bitfinex and Tether, even though iFinex says they're separate entities, they share executives. So the New York Attorney General office said, hey, you're hiding this. We want to see if any New York residents' heads were affected by this. Because if you don't know, getting a license to trade cryptocurrencies in New York is very, very extremely difficult. There's a 14-month waiting list, and there's at the point last I read, there's 40 people on the list to try to get a BIT license in New York from the New York Department of Financial Services, NYDFS. So, New York Attorney General Letitia James, she wanted to know if any New York investors were affected by this. Things happen, blah blah blah. Or fast forward to this article, um, Bitfinex did an LEO, not LEO, IEO, initial exchange, initial exchange offering. So they were going to sell this LEO token to the LEO token is much like the Binance coin. Now they're saying they're going to buy the token back and burn and increase the value of the token. So it's all it's to me it's all a big circus. This has gotten out of hand. People say that Bitfinex did this $1 billion token sale to cover the funds Tether sent them to send those funds back. It's it's just a big mess in my opinion. Let's look at the chat. How you doing, Gabe A? How you doing, Rainy Woman? How you doing, Damiete? Hope hope everybody is doing well. All right. I do not know what's the plan for for the wider Black YouTube, Black Manosphere. We'll have to start here. We'll have to start doing standalone shows. Um, I'll bring a lot of the content I'm doing on my channel over here. But for as far as the wider manosphere and Black YouTube and YouTube in general, for those who rely on Hangouts, I have not heard of any information on anything that YouTube will be doing. If you don't know, there is some YouTube. Put this in here. There's a couple of people that work at YouTube actually have our content creators. They work at YouTube. So let me show you all. They actually have a channel to keep you all up to date on what's going on YouTube, and the channel is called Creator Insider. So these people actually work at YouTube. This guy works at YouTube. Um, and some more people work at YouTube, and they keep you up to date on what's going on YouTube. So this is a good way to get from the horse's mouth information as to what's going on with YouTube. All right, let's keep it going. Crypto exchange Bitrix delisting delists 40 plus altcoins for U.S. clients. Regulatory pressure. Crypto assets delisted en masse on U.S. exchanges as Bitcoin has returned. Regulatory pressure on crypto assets in their respective industries have begun to rapidly mount. We may be just 6 months from BTC's $3,200 bottom, but governments across the globe are already preparing for the next bull run. Last week, Vetrix, a well-known regulated crypto exchange centered around altcoins, revealed that it will soon be disallowing users in the U.S. from trading 32 cryptocurrencies. Although most assets that were mentioned were not well known, the list includes Qtum, Storm, Go, and ENG. I think that's Engine. All popular ICOs during 2017 and 2018's mania. By June 21st, the coins mentioned will not be available to be bought or sold through Bittrex, but through Bittrex International instead, the firm's Europe-based venture that is focused on its non-American clientele. And today, Friday, the Seattle-based startup continued to delist altcoins en masse. In the firm's latest blog post, it revealed the delisting of 42 cryptocurrencies, including Civic, Omise Go, and Siren Labs crypto token SRN. By June 28th, the assets mentioned in the list will be delisted from Bittrex for US clients. Now, the purpose of me adding this into the show is to show that there's a lot of question marks in the air in terms of regulations from governments on about crypto exchanges. And this article came out June 15th, 3 days before the Facebook Libra crypto was announced, and now you're seeing regulatory governments and even committees in the governments want to push regulation to regulate both crypto and Facebook. So what you're seeing is a lot of exchanges trying to get ahead of the curve and delist coins that they deem can have or may have regulatory pushback in the future once a lot of regulation comes down. Now, since then, what we've been hearing or what I've been reading in the crypto sphere, when I say what we've been hearing in the crypto sphere, why I'm meaning pertaining to the crypto sphere is the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, is a task force that 37 countries are in, and I think it's more. It's made up of 37 countries, but I think it's 100 countries that are in. What they're doing is recommending, quote unquote, recommending rules to apply to cryptocurrencies. The problem is, if you don't abide by these rules, then you're somewhat shooting yourself in the foot when it comes to global trade. So one of the rules is actually the main rule everyone is hung up on is the travel rule. The travel rule applies to banks, meaning they want to know who you are and how and who you're sending money to. The problem with that is with cryptos and blockchain, that's not in cryptos and blockchain nature to know that knowledge. By cryptos and blockchain nature, it's anonymous or it's pseudonymous. Pseudonymous meaning there's a string of letters and numbers. So you can look on Bitcoin's blockchain and see the transactions going back and forth. Actually, let's do that now because that's good practice to look at blockchains to see what transactions are going back and forth. So I'm at blockchain.com and I'm going to uh, hover my cursor over data and a drop down menu comes down. So I'm going to click on Bitcoin Explorer. And if you scroll down, it's a lot of information here. So this information that's coming in Actually, let's go to transaction. This is blocks. Transaction. So all this information is anonymous. You don't know who's sending this information. People are sending thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the thing with blockchains, cryptocurrency blockchains in particular. They're anonymous by nature, and the Financial Action Task Force is trying to force people to say, hey, you must know who these people are, their geographical position in the world, and so forth. But I did read an article that some people are planning to come out with a way for cryptocurrency exchanges, or they call them VASPs, VASPS, virtual asset service providers, to abide by these rules without actually saying, "Hey, this is this person," and spending a lot of money to appease the Financial Action Task Force. So we'll see. We'll see. Next article. Brad Garlinghouse says new MoneyGram partnership would have big impact on XRP powered X Rapid. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says the company's new partnership with money transfer giant MoneyGram is a big step forward for emerging blockchain and crypto industry. MoneyGram will use Ripple's cross-border payment product XRapid to settle cross-border payments using the digital asset XRP, according to a press release. Ripple announced the strategic partnership with MoneyGram on Monday. Garlinghouse told Bloomberg TV the partnership will help Ripple transform the cross-border payments industry. The deal is being the quote, the deal is a big step for Ripple, but I think it's a bigger step for the overall industry. There's been a lot of excitement around what blockchain and digital assets and crypto can mean for the industry, and I think it's the reason why players Facebook are diving in also. But we haven't yet seen much beyond experimentation. And at Ripple, I think we are the market leader because we have matured aggressively and excuse me, and we're really solving real problems for real customers. MoneyGram is just a manifestation of that. And as the second largest global remittances company, we're able to have a big impact with one customer and one partner in this. End quote. MoneyGram owns about 5% of the global remittance market, according to a 2017 report from Financial Times. As part of the deal, Ripple will buy up to a 10% stake in MoneyGram at $4.10 a share. That's important. There's two things that's quite important in that sentence right there. Which is, as part of the deal, Ripple will buy up to a 10% stake in MoneyGram at $4.10 a share. Let's look at MoneyGram stock. MoneyGram, I believe. Okay, here we go. I looked it up before. MoneyGram stock right now is $2.42, meaning they paid a premium. At the time of purchase, MoneyGram stock was $1.46. So they made uh, they made a large they paid a large premium. Ripple did in buying a stake into MoneyGram. Um, the other point I'm trying to make is I know people say cryptocurrencies are this, they're a fad, so forth and so forth. Ripple buying a 10% stake in MoneyGram, spending $30 million to buy a stake in a long established institution such as MoneyGram doesn't spell fad, in my opinion. But people that say those things, they don't see this information and they don't read this news and they don't pay attention to this type of news that goes on involving cryptocurrencies and even institutions that are getting into the cryptocurrency space. So I don't think cryptos are a fad at this point. They are well beyond the fad phase. Um, let's see, where did I leave it? Okay, here we go. So far, Ripple's investment is $30 million, and MoneyGram can decide to bring that number up to $50 million. That's an option. The deal is for 2 years. According to Garlinghouse, the company is focused on growing XRapid and expanding the number of payment routes available on the platform. Since launching in October of last year, Ripple has opened one X-Rapid route between Mexico and the Philippines. Quote, with this new product around liquidity, we're now enabling liquidity into the Mexican peso and the Philippine peso. We certainly expect to be much broader than that, but we've only been live with this product for about 6 or 7 months. So we feel like we've made tremendous progress in a short amount of time. We're going to continue to invest with the customers we have today, as well as expand the number of corridors we have globally, end quote. And as for Facebook's entry into crypto, Garlinghouse says he thinks the social media giant will focus on consumer products and leave an open door for Ripple's enterprise efforts. So that's this some he really talks about Facebook at that point right there. But in terms of the deal with Facebook and Ripple, this is a good deal. And you have to ask the question now, what will Western Union do? The last I read, Western Union CEO says that they're still looking at Ripple. They are still standing by their words from last year that it's not financially feasible. What they have now is cheaper. Don't really believe that since your competitor has. Hello.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Sean, man, you
All right.
all right?
You really can't believe that since your competitor has actually partnered with them, and even your competitor says that this can bring our prices down from a couple dollars to a couple cents. So we'll see. We'll see what MoneyGram does. Not MoneyGram, Western Union does, but MoneyGram and Ripple partnership is great. Any comments?
Yeah, I think that 5% of world market remittances is pretty low for money for a company like MoneyGram. You would think they would have a significant more amount or a significant increased amount for the amount of business that they do. 5% seems pretty low.
Yeah, it does. It does because of when you think about remittances, other than banks, really only two companies you think about is Western Union and MoneyGram.
Well, I would assume that maybe some of these digital applications have crept into their market space and have eaten up their share, but 5% is still significantly low. I mean, what happened to the rest of the 95% of the market?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I wonder how much money, not MoneyGram, Western Union, how much of a percentage of the market Western Union has.
If I remember correctly, Western Union has something like 20 to 25%.
Okay, that ain't bad. All right. Okay. All right. So, 8 crypto exchanges were shut down in 2019. How does that affect the overall crypto space? Excuse me. Keeping aside the market growth and price hike of Bitcoin and altcoins in 2019, the virtual asset industry has suffered a few major implications in the current year. Crypto exchanges are very important to the long-term stability and rapid expansion of crypto assets. However, the longevity of these organizations has come under question in recent times. From a recent statistics released by Yassine El-Mendidra, a crypto analyst at ARK Invest, it, it was observed that the average lifespan of a cryptocurrency exchange was only 18 months, as a significant number of these exchanges were falling prey to crypto hacks, mismanagement, and also Bitcoin theft. It was estimated that around 50% shut down, 50 exchanges shut down till date, most notably Cryptopia and Mt. Gox. And since the start of 2019, 8 exchanges is shut down in the industry. The exchanges which were shut down for the year 2019 were Coinome, CoinPlus, CoinNest, CoinRoom, Liquid Exchange, Quadriga CX, Cryptopia, and Gatecoin. Whereas the likes of CoinPlus fell prey to less favorable conditions. Major exchanges like Cryptopia could not recover after witnessing a major hack and aftermath, could not maintain their business even after cutting losses. The reasons remain on similar grounds in the other exchanges, as exchanges are often crushed with the agonizing load of protecting the funds and keeping up with regulations that restrict the overall trading acumen. Whenever an exchange shuts down or a hack takes place, multiple questions are pledged against the overall security of these crypto asset exchanges, and a cloud of doubt personifies over them. It suggestively also affects the price of Bitcoin, as seen in the past after the fall of Mt. Gox. The topic regarding exchanges being hacked by hackers is a conditional one, as Binance suffered a network breach a few weeks where a sum of 7,000 BTC were stolen. In this scenario, the theft was not significantly damaging, but it raises a concern as to what limits these exchanges are secured. Moreover, the adoption of digital currencies is stagnated, as potential investors might indicate a reluctance to put forward their capital onto an asset that is regularly under threat of cybercriminals or bankruptcy faced by their handlers. So working backwards here, the last paragraph. One of the golden rules of crypto is not to keep your cryptos on an exchange. Per this article and per anecdotal evidence, crypto exchanges are hacked, regardless who they are. So leaving your crypto on the exchange, you're leaving yourself open to get your money stolen. Also, I put this in the docket because I want to make a point. Traditional crypto exchanges, as we see them now, has to come together and form a committee or an association whereby basic rules, standards, and so forth are met. And if these crypto exchanges can't meet these high standards, then people would know that if they do conduct business on these crypto exchanges, then there's a high probability that their money will be stolen. That's not to say if crypto exchanges come together, then you can feel safe to leave your money on there. People are still going to leave their money on there. So I'm still going to say this till I'm blue in the face, not to keep your money on there. Another hack that happened, it was a Irish exchange that did an exit scam. And they were around since 2016. One person said he obviously wants to remain anonymous. He said he had $150,000 on there. The lowest amount that was recorded thus far was $5,000. Don't leave your money on these exchanges. And also, another point I want to point out that these exchanges have to come together to set standards, because the more traditional crypto exchanges, as we see them now, are hacked or just plain go out of business, that leaves the door open for traditional markets such as your Fidelities, such as your Charles Schwab's, E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, and thus forth, to come in and take up a big pie, a big portion percentage of the crypto industry markets. They can then dominate them because these exchanges are not doing well. They're mismanaging their funds. Their cybersecurity is not up to par, and so forth. They don't have the type of funds set aside like Binance had in order to cover their losses. They just close shop, close doors. So they need to come together, or else we're going to see a situation where the same traditional market makers, such as the Fidelities and Charles Schwab's and so forth, that cryptocurrencies were trying to get away from, they're going to come in and take up a significant portion of cryptocurrency exchanges. My volume sounds a little low. All right, I'll speak up more. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can boost my volume here. Let's see here. Here we go. All right. Okay. All right. Let's get to the next topic. Okay. Next topic. A new Bitcoin exchange on the Colombian-Venezuelan border will help refugees. A, a new cryptocurrency exchange service is available on the border between Colombia and Venezuela, and it aims to help refugees traveling across the Simon Bolivar International Bridge. Visitors are now able to use the point of sale service with cryptocurrencies to buy goods. The POS is located in Santander, Colombia, just across the border from Venezuela. Panda Group created the payment alternative with refugees in mind. The group, a Colombian Venezuelan joint venture, announced the implementation of the new service through their Twitter account. According to the data published by CoinATMRadar.com, the service lets users exchange Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and DAI and convert them into Colombian pesos. At the physical location, a small phone service provider in a mall called La Parada, customers can buy Bitcoin with prices based on the local Bitcoin's rate in pesos. The service will charge 10% above the market price, and those who sell their Bitcoins will do so for 5% more than the established market price. So if you're selling your Bitcoins via the service, you're just going to pay a 5% fee because even though they're charging 10% above, when you sell your Bitcoin, you're charging 5% above the market price according to the local Bitcoin's rate. Reading on. This is not the first cryptocurrency exchange in the country. The Panda Group has already installed another 5 cryptocurrency exchanges in Colombia, most of them in the Colombian capital, Bogota. According to Panda CEO Arle Lozana Jaramillo, their solutions are focused on helping the Venezuelan users and their announced and and they announced the addition of a new service called XPay.cash to encourage adoption. This service is for all armed brothers to pay directly in Kukui with their crypto assets and mitigate the loss of exchanging from BTC to COP, which represents a loss of at least 20%, Jaramillo said. Colombia has the highest rate of cryptocurrency investors in South America, next to Brazil. There are reportedly over 20 businesses accepting Bitcoin payments in the country. The establishments are mainly focused on tourism, food, and digital services. So I'm guessing the Simon Bolivar International Bridge is the same bridge that a lot of Venezuelans are crossing to go to Colombia. And also now you see a cryptocurrency exchange at the bridge where people can and the Venezuelans can purchase Bitcoin in pesos to hedge against rapid inflation of their money. So this is a good idea, in my opinion.
Well, they're using this as a means to wash money coming out of the Venezuelan capital. So what was happening before last year, and this has been talked about ad nauseum on this channel, is that people were buying up food off the shelf in Venezuela and then selling it in Colombia for U.S. dollars. But now, lack of food in some places has prevented this sort of capital flight from happening. So now what they can do is actually have people put their money inside these exchanges and then boost up the market in terms of cryptos in that area because people need to move their money out because the money is inflated.
Okay, okay. But This is also still a good way for them to. I know we've read stories, and I heard you all read stories of how when people get paid living in Venezuela, they run and purchase any particular goods because they don't want to lose value, spending value. So this is also a good way to, you know, keep that spending power. I want to say how you doing, Dollar Will, Miss Archie, how you doing? And also, hit the like button as you all enter. We're really appreciate it. All right. Banker seeks to exclude U.S. users from trading over regulatory uncertainty. There's that regulatory uncertainty again. Decentralized exchange platform Bancor plans to restrict U.S. residents from trading tokens on July 8th, the company confirmed in a blog post on June 18th. Citing a lack of clarity from regulators, executives said they took the decision to ban all users with a U.S. IP address from exchanging cryptocurrency. This decision has been made in light of increased regulatory uncertainty. At this time, we believe this is the most judicious decision for all the members of our ecosystem, the blog post reads. It continues, and I quote, this will enable the Bancor community and ecosystem to innovate faster and with greater clarity, end quote. Bancor runs a decentralized protocol using a, all right, what just happened there? There we go. Bancor runs a decentralized protocol using a peer-to-peer setup. While it is unclear what specific factors motivated the move, the regulatory situation involving another decentralized exchange, or DEX, Ether Delta, in 2018 serves to illustrate the difficulties of operating such a service in the U.S. As Cointelegraph reported in November of last year, the country's SEC charged the creator of Ether Delta, Zachary Coburn, with operating an unregistered securities trading platform, as well as an over $300,000 fine. Banker adds that all its users will still be able to hold and transfer tokens while conceding that the decentralized portions of its network were beyond its control and would thus remain open to U.S. traders. We would like to clarify that this functionality will be blocked to users accessing the website bancor.network, which offers an interface to blockchain activity. The blog post continues. It notes, and I quote, as Banker Liquidity Network is a collection of smart contracts on the blockchain and a non custodial system, we cannot restrict users from accessing the blockchain itself. This cannot be blocked, end quote. New international recommendations from the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, set for publication this week, will place stringent new ID requirements on any entity facilitating cryptocurrency trading, both in the US and elsewhere. So again, we see the regulatory uncertainty that's affecting decentralized networks, decentralized exchanges, and cryptocurrency exchanges. Also, these are virtual asset service providers. Now, if you're sending over $1,000, you have to abide by these quote unquote recommendations. But if you're sending less than $1,000, you don't have to abide by them. So, um, like I said, we'll see as time goes on. We'll see what countries pass these financial action task force laws, and we'll see how they will impact the crypto industry at large. So, but just the announcement of them right now are is impacting a lot of crypto exchanges. All right, all right. Legislators endorse virtual asset summit convened in response to coming financial action task force crypto rules. All right, global legislators have voiced their support for a forthcoming summit in Osaka, Japan, which will be devoted to virtual asset service providers or VASPs, responds to a new set of recommendations set forward by the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF. Cointelegraph Japan reported on the news on June 19. According to the report, the V20 summit will take place alongside the G20 Leaders Summit in Osaka on June 28th and 29th, and will convene G20 representatives, national blockchain associations, VASPs, and legislators from numerous jurisdictions. Those in attendance will use the summit to explore the evolution of possible technical solutions and prospective impact of the FATF's forthcoming proposal on how participant nations should exercise oversight for the digital assets sector. As previously reported, the Financial Action Task Force is an intergovernmental organization established on the initiative of the G7 to promote the implementation of legal, regulatory, and operational measures to fight money laundering. The organization has developed a series of recommendations recognized as the international standard for combating money laundering and the financing of illicit activities, which, while not legally binding, are in use by around 200 countries globally. As Cointelegraph Japan notes, responses to the forthcoming proposed standards have been divided. The report cites a statement from ex-FATF President Roger Wilkins, AO, and former Secretary Australian Department of the Attorney General, who has recognized that, and I do quote, what we are hearing from industry is that the new rules may have the opposite effect to which they are intended, effectively forcing crypto transactions off the controlled platforms, which are currently one of the best avenues we have to gaining visibility over financial crime, end quote. The V20 host nation, Japan, is notable for having recognized the crypto industry's move to self-regulate, as as Cointelegraph has previously reported. Japanese politician Naokozu Takimoto expressed his view that VASPs recognize the importance of clear regulation in preventing financial crimes, adding that he welcomes the opportunity for the country to share its experience with the international community. As reported, Jesse Spiro, head of the policy at major blockchain intelligence firm Chainalysis, has recently said he expects the FATF rules to broadly reflect the draft guidance already issued in March of this year. All right, so let's work backwards here. In that quote, Roger Wilkins said that these rules may have the opposite effect. We covered an article weeks ago which stated the DEA actually want criminals to use Bitcoin because Bitcoin is an open ledger. We just looked at Bitcoin's blockchain and we saw all transactions that was made on Bitcoin's blockchain. The only thing that DEA has to find out is who owns that public key, which I'm pretty sure they're able to do. Having an open public ledger such as Bitcoin does half the work, at least half the work for the DEA in trying to figure out who is sending illicit money or trying to do bad things with money. Also, another a report came out which said that about 1% of all Bitcoin transactions were actually made by criminals. 95% of Bitcoin transactions are made on exchanges, meaning buying and selling. So the rest of that 5%, 4% of that 5% is made by people actually purchasing things on Bitcoin's blockchain. Thus, the 1% is made by criminal activity. So what he's saying is now you have people, now you're trying to make that 1% out of a mountain, make a mountain out of a molehill. Now you're affecting people who actually use Bitcoin the right way to live, to buy, to pay their phone bill, and so forth. You're now forcing them to make transactions off grid. So that's what he's trying to say that this may have the opposite effect what they want to do. me personally, I think that they're doing this because they want to control it some type of way. Bitcoin is not a sovereign country in terms of it's not from any particular country like central bank currency, so it's not controllable. That's why you see a lot of governments coming down hard on Facebook Libra. They want it to stop. They want it to do this because it's not beholden to any one country. It's for all intents and purposes of this example, it is a global currency. And it's putting a lot of, not governments, but a lot of banks on their heels because central banks are beholden to the country they're in. That's why you have a U.S. central bank, Australian central bank, French central bank. So that's what I think this financial action task force is trying to do. This is this current year is America's turn to head the financial action task force. So that's what I think they're trying to do.
Well, a lot of the financial regulations require that sensitive data, personally identifiable data, PII, has to be protected. So in one case they say it's encapsulated within the ledger itself, so therefore it cannot be seen. The only problem is that who owns the data? Is it the central bank or is it the mechanism that it rides on? Because if it's the mechanism that it rides on, then it falls out of compliance. But if it's the central institution, then that's different. So there's the reason why there's
Hello.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you said the reason. Then sound like you broke up there.
Yeah, the reason why you have that issue is because of financial regulation that requires the data be protected, despite the fact that it may be encapsulated on the blockchain and not immediately identifiable. There still has to be possession of the data by some form of entity, and if it's being if it's in possession of the if the data is in possession of the institution, then that's one thing. But if it's being left to the blockchain itself, then that kind of falls out of compliance, and that's where you have an issue.
Okay. All right. All right. And with it's funny you say that because I read the Facebook white paper, and in the Facebook white paper, they're saying that they welcome banks also to join the Libra Association. So I'm thinking they know the questions. Facebook know the type of questions that governments are going to ask, and they actually want banks to join their Libra Association. So I don't think they're talking about central banks, but even large banks in different countries joining the association can maybe appease governments in terms of uh, information, gather information, and falling into compliance. But we'll see with Facebook Libra. But with Bitcoin blockchain, it's tough to implement that PII, personal identifying information, because since its inception, it wasn't meant for that. You'll have to put um, things in place on the exchange level that will make sure that any information or no money that's transferred information will be attached, and that's what people are saying, that can cost a lot of money and put a lot of crypto exchanges, put them out of business because they don't have that type of liquidity to do a lot of that. So yeah, like I said, we'll see, we'll see. All right. I also want to say hello to Complex Design, and yeah, what's up? Also, please hit the like button as you all come in. We really do appreciate it. Russia to adopt crypto legislation within 2 weeks. Deputy Finance Minister. Russia's parliament, the State Duma, will adopt the country's major crypto bill on digital financial assets, or DFA, in the next 2 weeks. According to a local senior finance official, The news was reported by Russian government-backed news agency TASS on June 19th. Russia's deputy finance minister, Alexei Mosev, revealed that the State Duma is currently considering the DFA and is expected to adopt the bill in the second reading within the next 2 weeks. Moiseev added that the authority has approved separate legislation for initial coin offerings, which will be part which will be a part of Russia's law on crowdfunding. That sounds about right. Russia will thus have two bills related to cryptocurrencies, the DFA and the law on crowdfunding, Moiseev stated, adding that the DFA is expected to be approved in the version that has been prepared for the second reading. If adopted as expected by the official, Russia's regulation will come in accordance with the order of the country's president, Vladimir Putin, who required the state to enforce regulation for crypto industry by July 1st, 2019. Recently, TASS has reported that Russia was postponing the adoption of crypto legislation due to certain terminology requirements from the Financial Action Task Force on money laundering, as the bill lacked key terms such as cryptocurrencies. I haven't heard anything from this turnout so far, so this is the latest I've heard. I haven't heard anything else from it. So Russia has been one of those countries that has been hard on crypto, and now they're trying to force crypto regulation in their laws.
Well, because they're conservative by nature, so any of this new stuff that they can't physically touch is kind of rogue to them. So what they consider to be liberal.
Okay. Okay. Kukui becomes first major crypto exchange to list rival Binance coin. Cryptocurrency exchange Kukui has become the first in the industry to host the in-house token of competitor trading platform Binance. Announced on June 18, KuCoin now provides trading support for Binance Coin, the native asset of exchange Binance. The depositing and trading of Binance Coin is scheduled to take place on Wednesday, officials confirmed, with withdrawals expected to go live on June 21st. Two pairs will trade against Bitcoin and stablecoin Tether. KuCoin is always willing to support promising blockchain projects that bring values to the world. Blockchain mass adoption is the end game, and we are all going after the same objective, KuCoin CEO Michael Gann wrote on Twitter. In doing so, KuCoin is the first major exchange to facilitate liquidity in this manner, with Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao hinting at his appreciation. Exchanges need good projects. How many exchanges can afford to not have access to Binance coins, tokens, and projects? If you are going to support it sooner or later, then sooner is better, he tweeted after the news went live. Quote, by the same logic, Binance will have to support other chains as they become available, end quote. He added had made a very smart move. Those words opened the door at a wow. Those doors opened the door to a reciprocal gesture from Binance, something holders of KuCoin's KuShares token had immediately called on to happen. Neither party has yet publicly confirmed further action. Both BNB and KCS saw modest upticks following the partnership in a broadly downward trending cryptocurrency market on Wednesday. As Bitcoin is reported, Binance has sealed its renaissance since its hack last month, which saw the platform lose funds worth 41 million at the time. Using capital from its Safefu fund, however, Binance was able to successfully refund all those affected from the security breach. Worldwide, the crypto exchange sector is facing the threat of serious upheaval in the wake of new regulatory recommendations, which are set to take effect in around 200 countries. This week, the centralized exchange platform Bancorp announced it was freezing out U.S. clients, specifically due to unclear regulations in the country. Earlier this week, Zhao said he was actively working on a solution to ensure Binance did not have to do the same. So this is a good move from. That's why you mute your phone. This is good news. This is a good move by Kukui to list Binance Coin. That goes not directly but indirectly goes to what I was saying, that a lot of these um, crypto exchanges have to come together and form some type of association. And this is one way to do that indirectly, in my opinion. All right. Everyone hit the like button as you come in. Please remember that. All right. Ethereum's 2.0 Phase 0 scheduled to launch on January 3rd, 2020, says devs. The first stage of Ethereum's network transition to Ethereum 2.0 is expected to take place on January 3rd, 2020, as said in a bi-weekly call of Ethereum core developers on June 13th. During the call, Ethereum researcher Justin Drake said that the dev team is working on code specifications for Phase 0, confirming that codes are still expected to be released on June 30th. Phase 0 is the name of the first transition stage of the Ethereum network from a proof of work to a proof of stake consensus algorithm. That's pretty good, which would pass block verification, which would pass block validation function from miners to special network validators. As mentioned by Drake in a recent call, Phase 0 is expected to launch on not January, January 3rd, the day when the first block of the Bitcoin blockchain was created 10 years ago. So now there you have it, some good information. The first Bitcoin blockchain was mined January 30th, 2009. The researcher stated, and I do quote, "We still have quite a bit of time before the end of 2019. So I think looking at a target genesis date towards the end of 2019 could be realistic," end quote. Drake also considered the issue of deposit contracts, suggesting to launch those ahead of the target genesis block to allow time for validators to make deposits. The developers said that the deposit contract ceremony will be held at DevCon, an Ethereum developers conference in October. According to Drake, such timing will enable developers to deliberate on the address of the deposit contract, as well as to avoid scam deposit contracts. Recently, major cryptocurrency exchange Binance published research claiming that the vast majority of decentralized finance, or DeFi, application creators are built on the Ethereum blockchain. So the Ethereum blockchain is a really robust and expansive, and enterprise minded blockchain. So we'll next year. Well, no, I want to say that. I was going to say something wrong. The first phase to transition Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake will be implemented, or should be implemented, January 30th, 2020. They may miss it, it may occur earlier, but as of now, the first phase to transition Ethereum from a proof of work protocol to a proof of stake protocol will be set forth on January 3rd, 2020. And I'm pretty sure as that time comes and as that day comes, I'll inform you all and remind you all. So yeah, I want to say hello to Julian Maximin II. Hit the like button as you come in. Thank you. All right. Brazil requires crypto exchanges to report on user transactions to authorities. The Department of Federal the Department of Federal Reserve of Brazil, or RFB, has released new rules. One moment, please. Has released new rules requiring that cryptocurrency exchanges inform the regulator about users' transactions in order to identify tax fraud. The guidelines clarify how cryptocurrency trading platforms in Brazil should adopt new rules to report about the movements of users' crypto funds to the agency and comply with the requirements of Normative Instruction 1.888/2019, published in May of this year. Specifically, the agency requires that cryptocurrency exchanges operators based in Brazil provide information about all transactions carried out within their system, while those platforms based abroad must provide information whenever the monthly value of the operations alone or jointly exceed 30,000 Brazilian real or $7,750. Apart from the volume of a transaction, exchange operators must also provide data such as the nationality of the digital currency holder, their residence of domicile, registration number, and the crypto assets used in a transaction. Also, according to the rules, all required information must be provided within a specified period until 11:59 and 59 seconds Brasilia time on the last calendar month subsequent to that in which the operation took place, or the year, that year. The new rules will come into force in September 2019, so in a few months. When the RFB announced that it was forming the requirements for cryptocurrency exchanges, Ish- Ishmar Jr. Couto, legal director of the Bitcoin Banco Group, Brazil's largest cryptocurrency broker, said the initiative had long been expected. He added that Bitcoin Banco had made provisions to provide the required information to authorities. There you go. So you've seen a lot of crypto exchanges that keep their ear to the regulatory uh, grapevine, and they try to get ahead of these things, without waiting till they're passed and then doing it. They try to do it in advance to have the regulatory, maybe to have regulatory government see that, okay, we're being proactive instead of reactive. On May 31st, Cointelegraph Brazil reported that the president of the Chamber of Deputies of Brazil ordered a commission to be created to consider cryptocurrency regulation in the country. The commission will be tasked with regulating local activities around Bitcoin and other digital assets, and is reportedly expected to be composed of 34 members in accordance to the House with the House rules of procedure. So Brazil is foreseeing not only exchanges in the country, but exchanges that tailor to Brazilian residents to abide by the travel rule. So they're getting ahead. They're getting ahead, and they are trying to force this quote unquote recommendation from the Financial Action Task Force. How you doing, Christian? How you doing? All right. Quadriga CX CEO set up fake crypto exchange accounts with customer funds. This is how about this? I'll leave this to the last one because it's pretty interesting. It's pretty juicy to be honest. So I'll leave this as the last one. I don't want people to get their eyes glossed over to then forget the rest of the other articles. But it's pretty good. It is pretty good. Bitcoin bigger than Russia. Bitcoin now eighth largest world currency. Still think Bitcoin is a passing fad? Here's a news flash for you. At the current price, it's bigger than Russia's monetary base. That makes Bitcoin the eighth largest currency in the world, and the price keeps on climbing. The answer might surprise you. Check out the chart below by Crypto Voices. You'll see that gold is still by far the largest monetary system in the world, at almost 8 trillion. However, Bitcoin is hot on its heels. Um, there was a clickable link here, but it's not any. Oh, here it goes. So we look at the chart. It's a Twitter chart, so expand that. So you see gold at the right to your left. Gold is in the gold bar. Its base money, gold supply, is at 7.7 trillion. Then you have Japan, China, the entire Eurozone nations. You have the United States, then silver at zero point 0.8. Silver is behind the 3.4. Silver's bar is the silver color. Then after silver, you have the United Kingdom, Switzerland, India, and a tie between Russia, Bitcoin, and South Korea. So that is what they're talking about. When it comes to a country's monetary base, however, that is measured in terms of the total amount of currency in circulation or held in commercial deposits in the central bank, not in its gold reserves. With its $25 trillion debt, it is no surprise that despite being the world's largest economy, the U.S. lags in fourth place behind Japan, China, and the Eurozone when it comes to base money. You might wonder why oil-rich countries like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, or UAE, don't appear on this report. It is because most of their wealth is held in oil and not in fiat. Crypto Voices says, and I do quote, don't know their methodologies, but Saudi Arabia and Denmark, for example, are pegged currencies, so their base money is the USD or Euro, respectively, and should be counted. The correct economic comparison is the monetary base value of each currency central bank. End quote. If you don't count gold and silver, Bitcoin is now the eighth largest currency in the world. It comes in at ninth place after the two precious metals. How significant is that? Well, with a market cap currently at 162 billion and with some analysis predicting a BTC value of over 40,000 by the end of 2019, just after just 10 years of being created, it's a pretty big deal indeed. Bitcoin is already bigger than the base money of Russia, South Korea, Brazil, Canada, and Norway. With cryptocurrency adoption on the rise around the world, it won't be long before it catches up with and overtake the monetary base of India, Switzerland, the UK, and yes, the United States as well. So just some good information out there. I'm pretty sure there's multiple ways to look at this information, but still, in my opinion, um, the monetary value of Bitcoin and even the Satoshis is greater than a few countries out there. So yeah. All right. Oops, that's the Twitter. All right. CME Bitcoin institutional interest hits new record, up 80% year over year. CME Bitcoin futures reached a record all-time high of 5,311 contracts, or $250 million this week, as new institutional money flows into the Bitcoin derivative market. According to a recent tweet from one of the world's largest Bitcoin derivatives marketplace, the number of open BTC1 contracts reached a record $250 million in notional spot value on June 17th. This equates to around 26,515 BTC, which shows a huge 80% increase compared to last June's figures. It is believed that this meteoric rise in BTC open interest is the direct result of increased institutional investment coming into the market over the last quarter. This is highly possible given the huge developments that have happened in the crypto space over the last 5 months, namely Bitcoin's climb to 9K, Facebook stepping into the blockchain space, and Fidelity launching its crypto custodian service. This is important because for many years, The crypto market has been largely driven by retail investors in an unregulated environment, which lack the legitimacy and liquidity to tempt in bigger players from the traditional financial space. Over time, however, Bitcoin's recognition as a decentralized store of value has grown to the extent that we are now starting to see a wave of capital enter the market from funds, family offices, HNWIs or high net worth individuals, and financial institutions. Along with this money, institutions are ushering in much needed consumer protections, new financial products to bridge the gap with traditional finance, and helping to drive the overall mainstream adoption of Bitcoin. So yeah, we this is basically saying more and more people outside of mm, the first wave of institutional investors, not institutional investors, but retail investors. You have, like the article said, you have institutional investors. You have Facebook getting into the space. You have Fidelity getting into the space. You have markets from funds, family offices, high net worth individuals getting into the space, financial institutions. So it's maturing. It's maturing. It's at a more mature um, point. It's more mature than 2017 is what I'm trying to say. So, but this all in all, this is good news in my opinion. Yeah. All right. This is interesting news. At-home crypto miner CoinMine now pays out Bitcoin. CoinMine, a cryptocurrency mining device aimed at hobbyist market, will now give its users the option to be paid in Bitcoin. The device was able to mine Monero, Zcash, Grand, and Ethereum at launch, a set of cryptocurrencies that had a low enough difficulty threshold to allow for the average miner to see a minimum return. The addition of Bitcoin payouts gives miners more incentives to try the $799 or $699 with a special BTC discount product. To get you the most Bitcoin possible from your CoinMine 1, we head to Engineer Mine OS to automatically mine whatever crypto converts to Bitcoin at the highest rate and then exchange it to Bitcoin for you and put it in your wallet, said founder Farbod Nevi. This way, you're getting way more Bitcoin than if the device was mining Bitcoin directly. So what they're saying is that it mines not only Bitcoin, but it also mines Monero. It also mines where I just read it. It also mines a few other. Wow, did I miss it? Did I think I read that? But it also mines the other. Oh, here we go. Whew. Monero, Zcash, Grand, and Ethereum. So once it mined those cryptocurrencies, once it gets the reward, it then automatically converts those cryptocurrencies to Bitcoin and deposit Bitcoin in whatever wallet or address that you said it to send the funds to, which is pretty cool. The CoinMine box won't make you a millionaire overnight. Navy sees it as a test bed and experimental tool for those who want to dip a toe into the mining process. Given the resource requirements of high stakes mining, however, the CoinMine offers users a less energy intensive option. At today's numbers, your CoinMine one will generate around $15 to $20 a month of Bitcoin and USD price, said Neely. Of course, that number changes based on the future value of Bitcoin. If the value of Bitcoin appreciates, so will the value of what you made with your CoinMine one. Navy also sees the product as a cheaper and faster way to take part in networks like Lightning. So, the ROI on this right now is not high. It's not high at all. But for those hobbyists out there who want to mine Bitcoin, want to do it in a way that's understandable, if you want to pay that, go ahead. But me personally, I just thought it was a cool product. You can mine at home without actually building those big mining rigs. And there's other options to mine Bitcoin there is, but me personally, I just thought this was interesting. Yeah. Any comments on this one? No. Alright. How you doing, Game Changer? How you doing, Space Cowboy? Also, hit the like button as you come in. We really appreciate it. All right. Billions may be saved by tokens backed with central bank money. BOE chief. Banking, Bank of England Governor Mark Carney said that distributed ledger technology, or DOT projects, have the potential to unlock billions of pounds in capital and liquidity, and that they might one day see closer operation with the central bank itself. Carney spoke on June 20th during an appearance at the Lord Mayor's banquet for bankers and merchants of the City of London, according to published remarks. In the speech, which centered on new forms of financial products and services, Carney said that the Bank of England is announcing plans to consult on opening access to our balance sheets to new payment providers, going to going to on that's misspelled is written, going on to remark that the access could empower a host of new innovations. It was at this point that Carney invoked work being done on the blockchain and DLT front, telling attendees, and I do quote, in wholesale markets, consortia of broker dealers are working to develop settlement systems using distributed ledger technology that could overhaul how markets cooperate. These consortia, such as Utility Settlement Coin, propose to issue digital coins or digital tokens that are fully backed by central bank money, allowing instant settlement. This could also plug into tokenized assets. Conventional securities also represented on blockchain and smart contracts. This can drive efficiency and resilience in operational processes and reduce counterparty risks in the system, unlocking billions of pounds in capital and liquidity that can be put to more productive uses. End quote. On their face, the comments offer a hint. However brief, the companies using DLT might one day be able to tap directly into the Bank of England's services. So, to be honest, you see this after Facebook announced their Facebook coin. It's been said that um, Mark Zuckerberg has visited Bank of England, spoke with Mark Carney before the Facebook white paper was released and the Facebook Libra was announced. So I'm guessing that per not only those conversations, but other conversations behind closed doors regarding cryptocurrencies, distributed ledger technology, or DLT and blockchain and so forth, those conversations combined may have, may have pushed not only the Bank of England, but other central banks to offer what's called central bank CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. So I really do think this is a step that they're actually going to take. I think this is going to come to fruition because you're seeing a lot of central banks say they want to offer CBDCs or central bank digital currencies.
Yeah, this is going to act as a treasury note. Basically, treasury note is backed by the government and also backed by the currency that is distributed, which would be U.S. currency. But in this regard, the tokens will act as a treasury note.
Hmm. Yeah, and to be honest, it can cut down on a lot of things. It can push us to a more cashless society, no more printing off, paper money. I won't say no more, but you're going to see the slowdown of constantly printing off paper money, and also this is going to make things more efficient. You you may see certain job positions just go by the wayside because of this. efficiency in the money supply and keeping up with the money supply per country. But I think for them, this is a step in the right direction. It's not cryptocurrencies because it's centralized and it's controlled by the central banks, but for them, this is a step in the right direction. And you can't deny that cryptocurrency and even Facebook has had a hand in forcing them to make this pivot, to make this move. Yeah. Now back to this one. This is pretty interesting. Quadriga CX CEO set up fake customer exchange accounts with customer funds. Quadriga CX late founder and CEO used customer funds to trade his own account to trade for his own account on other cryptocurrency exchanges, the Canadian firm's bankruptcy trustee said. In a bombshell 70-page report released Wednesday, Ernst& Young claimed that Gerald Cotton, who apparently died last December, apparently, wow, transferred millions of dollars in crypto out of customer accounts and into other exchanges, with the funds being used to furnish Cotton's personal lifestyle and trading habits. Overall, it appears that Cotton effectively stole more than 200 million USD from his customers. One of the golden rules of crypto, top three golden rules of crypto: do not keep your funds on exchanges. Period. Significant volumes of cryptocurrency were transferred off platform outside Quadriga to competitor exchanges and to personal accounts controlled by Mr. Cotton, the report said. It appears that a user cryptocurrency was traded on these exchanges and in some circumstances used as security for a margin trading account established by Mr. Cotton. Fees and trading losses appear to have adversely affected Quadriga's cryptocurrency reserves, while other sums were sent to wallets whose owners Ernst& Young could not confirm. Between 2016 and the end of 2018, Cotton transferred 9,450 Bitcoin, 387,738 Ethereum, and 239,020 Litecoin out of its exchanges accounts respectively. Well, respectively 88 million, 105 million, and 33 million USD at present market prices, though their values have fluctuated and increased dramatically over that time. Cotton also appears to have created fake accounts on Quadriga, credited them with fiat amounts that did not actually exist, and used this fake fiat to purchase crypto, actual crypto from customers, with the largest account using the name Chris Mackey. That's why I've been saying these exchanges need to come together and create some type of association to have rules to abide by. They need this because stuff like this will ensure that these big market makers will have a place to come in and just swoop up a large percentage of the crypto market pie. Because acts like this will make people want these other big market players to come in and regulate more. Because silly things like this, by quote unquote adults, are going to make that happen, are going to make people want to come in, are going to make people want these big market makers to come in. Later, the report says that Cotton Margin traded Zcash, Dash, Dogecoin, and Amisego, where he generated substantial losses. An unidentified third exchange received 21,501 Bitcoin, or 201 million in today's prices, into an account under Cotton's name. All but 8 Bitcoin were liquidated, netting some 80 million Canadian dollars or $60.4 million dollars. So all of those 21,501 Bitcoin were liquidated, leaving, or except 8. All but 8 were liquidated. While this exchange is not cooperating with EY, it is cooperating with local authorities in its jurisdiction. EY is now looking to open formal channels with these authorities. Evan Thomas, a litigator with Osler, Hoskins, and Harcourt in Canada told CoinDesk that based on the report, what Cotton did was clearly fraudulent and betrayed the trust of Quadriga users. Cotton's exchanges could not have been an accident. Thomas indicated, saying, I mean, to quote, it's possible that he got in over his head and was trying to trade his way out of a deficit using other people's money. But given that the fake accounts have existed since at least 2016 and the misappropriated funds for luxury travel and real estate investments, it seems more likely that this was calculated and deliberately fraud. End quote. Quadriga CX filed for protection from creditors in January, owing customers 190 million worth of crypto and fiat, most of which it could not access because only its late CEO Gerald Cotton knew where the private keys were. EY's hunt for the missing funds, first as court appointed monitor and then as trustee when Quadriga CX formally entered bankruptcy in April, has largely been fruitless. As of May, the estate had just 21 million of assets to cover 160 million in remaining liabilities, though the most recent report brings the sum closer to 24.5 million. Hmm. The US FBI is looking into the losses, as are Canadian authorities. Other issues. This is wow. I keep saying, do not leave your once you make a transaction on these exchanges. Um, take your money off the exchange. Take it off. Don't leave it there. Don't leave it there overnight either. Don't just go. Just leave it there. Man, don't just leave it there. Just take it. I'm gonna read this last section. Then wrap the articles up. Other issues. Ernst& Young's report also detailed rampant mismanagement and poor practices, noting that Quadriga did not keep administrative logs and had no contingency plan for the loss of funds or its leader. Wow. What's more, the exchange seamlessly engaged in poor accounting practices. For example, the exchange paid two of its nine payment processors 11.8 million Canadian dollars, roughly 9 million USD in fees alone. Quadriga did not maintain any documentation, however. The monitor has been unable to locate any accounting with respect to the pooled Quadriga funds. The report said the monitor notes that TPP accounts were used to process user fiat transactions, fund general Quadriga operating costs, and on multiple occasions funds were directed to Mr. Cotton, parties related to Mr. Cotton, or counsel/parties acting on his behalf. It went on to add, and I do quote, it appears that as and when operating expenses were required to be paid, or when Mr. Cotton desired funds to be transferred to himself or related parties, he simply instructed TPPs to issue payments with no oversight, end quote. EY also believes that properties in Nova Scotia, properties in British Columbia, investment securities, cash holdings, a boat, an aircraft, luxury vehicles, and gold and silver coins that purportedly belonged to Cotton and now belong to his widow, Jennifer Robertson, were paid for using Quadriga's customers' funds and therefore should be liquidated. Wow. As Mr. Cotton's and Miss Robertson's personal expenditures and the accumulation of their personal assets since 2015 was sourced from Quadriga funds, the trustee intends to seek the recovery of the preserved assets subject to the asset preservation order back to the estate for immediate liquidation on the basis that the funds which Mr. Cotton directed be paid to them constitute references of transactions at undervalue under the BIA and may be subject to other causes of action asserted to the trustee. Ernst & Young wrote. The proceeds from these sales, if successful, will go to the creditor's estate and could total as much as 12 million Canadian dollars or $9 million, which will leave them still in the hole in trying to pay their creditors what they lost. Do not leave your money on exchanges. As soon as you make a transaction, take that money off. So,
Do you want to explain the differences between the hot storage, warm storage, and cold storage?
yeah, so cold storage is place you keep your crypto name, mainly a hardware wallet where it's cut off from the internet. Uh, you want to cut off from Bluetooth also, although Ledger has come out with uh, new Ledger Nanos that you can use Bluetooth, but you want it cut off from digital access, meaning you have to plug it in somewhere to get your funds off. The opposite of that, which is hot storage, is a wallet that's connected to the internet. You trade from, you use frequently. You know, it's connected to the internet. Like I said, there's access to that wallet. Warm, warm is mesh between. So let's say you have, that's an example. Let's say you have funds that you want to use as pocket change. It's still in cold storage, but it you can connect it where you can use it, but then you cut the connection off. So there's an example of all three. I would say if you are a long-term holder, long-term trader, you know, you have a number of, let's say XRP or let's say Ethereum. You bought a set number of Ethereum. You had in mind, and you have in mind a price in which you're going to sell them, and you're not going to sell them until they reach that price. Put it in cold storage. If you plan on trading Ethereum, then hot wallet is what you want. If you plan on using Ethereum and buying it just like the first article, buying things off Amazon, then you may want to put like one Ethereum in this wallet where you can control it. So that's what I that's the differences. So yeah. If anyone have any more questions, you can drop it in the chat, answer those questions. But like I said, always on our crypto show, we don't have a large turnout, but still the information is here for those who want to look at the information or read the information or even um, hear the information passively. It's always here. I'd like to appreciate those who came in, like the video. We have 34 likes, 22 watching right now. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Yeah. How you doing, Jay Charles? How you doing, Complex, Space Cowboy, Game Changer, Maddox, Raining Woman? Yeah, what's up? And everyone else that's here now and has come in. We really appreciate you all coming in. How you doing, Money Mike? What's the best cold storage wallet? Right now, it's Ledger. Also, you have Trezor, spelled Trezor. There's also military grade cold storage wallets. I get the. I know Mike said he saw one. He know of one. And I get the ad of them all the time when I'm using the Brave browser. Um,
Called Iron Key.
Iron Key.
Yep.
Iron Key. All
It's
right.
it's made of metal. I think it's aluminum, and
Hmm.
it actually has a key code on it on the outside of it that you have to punch in before it can work.
Okay. Okay. And that's not out the ordinary for these hardware wallets to have some type of sturdy metal because they're looking where you know you may drop it, it may be in a fire. They're looking at these assets as as being worth a lot in the future. And you don't want something that will just be flimsy or will would break or not work.
Yeah, a while ago, a few years ago, there was a shipping a cargo ship that actually capsized on off the coast of a country. I forget the country right now. And what they found was that there was hard drives inside the containers, and they went underwater. Well, it took them about 3 or 4 months to actually recover those containers from underwater. And when they brought them back up, they were actually able to read after drying out the hard drives. They were able to read the data right off of the hard drive as
Mm,
clear as day. So we have to keep in mind that encryption is a method necessary for doing financial transactions and storage. So those hard drives that they recovered had a lot of personal information on there that could have been exploited.
yeah. Mm.
So don't
Rain,
always
go ahead.
assume that just because you have it in cold storage that it's it's safe 100%. If a person can physically access it, then you, you better assume that those that data can be recovered.
Mm. Rain Woman asks, now that people will be looking at cryptocurrency now, what's the first book of intro would you recommend? I always like Andreas Antonopoulos. He's the go-to person in the entire crypto industry that people ask questions to. He's been in it since 2013, and he wrote a few books. One of them is Mastering Bitcoin. Another one is Mastering Ethereum. Also, he wrote a few other books, where it's a accumulation of his speeches, it being Internet of Money Volume 1 and Internet of Money Volume 2. Let me go to my Amazon and I will drop the link in the description. But he's like the go-to person when people want to ask questions in general from anywhere in the world. They always go to his um, Patreon, sign up, and of course you got to pay, be one of his Patreon members to ask him questions, and that's how he does his shows, by just answering people that has questions. Let me mastering bit. Okay, here we go. I'll drop that down in the description, and that's a good place. And also, we have our blockchain study group. We're going to be having our first, drop that in the description right now, our first private um, hangout. Wow, I don't think I can. The link is too long, but go to Amazon's Mastering Bitcoin, programming the open blockchain. But we're having our first private hangout tomorrow to go over some things of our first certification. So yeah, yeah. How you doing, Wacky World Lavo? How you doing? And any more questions? You all can let me know. But that was a good question, Rain Woman. That was a good question. Let's see here. No, what's the question? Okay, Dollar Will, can I transfer funds from cold to hot and warm wallets, then back to my cold wallet? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you transfer funds back and forth to cold to warm to hot, wherever wallet, what you then, if you want to, since it's a cold wallet, you don't want to access it frequently, then it wouldn't be a cold wallet anymore. So what you would do is if you're transferring funds back and forth from your cold wallet to any other type of wallet, if you're going to be doing that, then what you want is a warm wallet where you're going to be transferring funds frequently. The whole objective of a cold wallet is to set it and forget it. You don't literally forget it, but don't access it frequently because you don't want any type of hacking going on or accessing that and someone is looking, so that's the whole point of the cold storage. Joshua 336, how you doing, says how available are blockchains related to jobs? I searched on Indeed and it seems most jobs blockchains was in the secondary function. Okay, I'll have to clear that up a little bit. I don't understand the question. It is normally a secondary function of a job. Joshua, okay. So yeah, cold wallets are for hodlers. If you're just holding and that's it. Um, Secondary function. It's kind of. I think I know what you're asking. It's like you're at a job, but if you have the ability to understand or even some type of code on the blockchain, that's fine as a secondary skill on the job. I haven't come into anything like that. What we've been seeing is actual businesses wanting to hire someone in the blockchain space and not be like a secondary, not blockchain be a secondary skill that they have, but a primary skill because since it's a nascent and growing industry and a growing technology where we have yet to identify the all of the ways it can be applied, then I'm seeing that a lot of businesses want you to have this skill in order to use you to build out their blockchain and build out their blockchain architect and build out that distributed ledger, hyperledger, what the case may be, not as a secondary function though. All right. All right. So I guess we'll close out here. Um, yeah. So what's going on the weekend? I'm not particularly sure. Mike is still there. I don't know if you all gonna have anything going on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Pretty sure we do have something going on this weekend though. Only around 7 Central, 8 Eastern time. But yeah.
Yeah, we have Black Tech Talk, so we covering cybersecurity and digital health.
All right. So that's tomorrow. All right.
Yep.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.